Okay, let's quickly discuss, what could really emerge from this RIC meeting in which is being chaired by Dr. S. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister. Professor Sriram Chaulia, noted foreign affairs expert, is with us. Good afternoon to you, Professor Chaulia. What do you make of this juncture that the RIC meeting is taking place? Of course, there's Afghanistan and a lot of scope for increasing cooperation between Russia, India and China, which took a little bit of a backseat ever since things went a little south in eastern Ladakh.
Yeah, I mean, the bilateral tension between China and India does weaken the prospects for this plurilateral or trilateral. So I think Russia is in a way centrally positioned because it has strong strategic ties with both China and India. And I think it's in Russia's interest to make sure that we have at least a working relationship at the trilateral level, because that helps Russia to project its own interests. And for us also, RIC is important for India. This has been going on for a long time, and we have stuck to this format because it helps that the three of us are meeting rather than just bilaterally between China and India, because Russia's presence helps us to what I call create a kind of a soft counterbalancing, and same in BRICS, where these three countries are also part of BRICS. So RIC is useful as a way to nudge forward and to try and find creative ways out of even the China-India bilateral conflict. Russia has been trying to play a kind of a soft mediator type of role. I mean, it's not really mediation, but it's facilitating and confidence building, trust building. And you're also right that apart from the bilateral problem that we have with China, there is the bigger challenge of Afghanistan for all three of us. It's a common challenge, and this is where none of our three countries has recognized the Taliban government, and all of us have channels open with them. China and Russia have embassies there in Kabul, and they are directly in touch with the Taliban. So I think we would also want regional consensus, which has been lacking and missing over how to deal with this new regime in Kabul and how to form a unified front to approach this new regime in terms of humanitarian assistance, in terms of the security threats of terrorism coming out of this country and the bordering country, which is Pakistan. So there are divergences in our approaches, but I think this is a useful format to have. I mean, if you don't have RIC, then we have to deal one-on-one with China on all issues of regional concern, and there, they bring in the Pakistani factor and it becomes difficult for us to find any common ground. So having Russia in the middle, always useful to look for some kind of a consensus position on regional issues of great significance.
Certainly, and it's not just we've talked about Afghanistan, we've talked about even military ties that we have with Russia. Even China has them and is strengthening them with Russia as well. And in terms of responding to other global challenges, be it COVID-19 or even on the economic front, again RIC becomes very, very contextual and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, the recovery, as well, for that matter. All of us are making our own individual efforts. The bounce back in India is quite strong, and we are expecting a sustained high growth trajectory now with the positive reforms done by the Narendra Modi government. I think the Chinese have a different intention. This is always been the problem, because they want to expand their economic influence in a way that creates debt trap and loss of sovereignty, or even threatens the territorial integrity of other countries.
Yes.
Dr. Jaishankar just mentioned this on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that we are not in favor of these connectivity corridors and projects like Belt and Road Initiative that vitiate the sovereignty of other countries and lead to, in fact, make regional disputes worse. So I think it's very important that Chinese adopt a more responsible position. We are not at all in alignment with the Chinese on this question. But with Russia being there, yes, we will look at common strategies for battling the pandemic. The vaccines, India has promised 5 billion vaccines for the entire Indo-Pacific region by end of next year. And this is what the whole world is awaiting, and we would want the Russians and the Chinese to also cooperate with us in this, because in the past the Chinese have tried to compete with us, and even the Russians, they have their own vaccines. So yes, I think it will be useful if we can do something jointly, although the Quad which is a kind of a rival group in which we also have a major membership, has its own vaccine plans and its own infrastructure plans. But for us, Russia is important, and we can never let go of the Russian relationship because it helps to keep the Chinese under check. So that's why we persist with this platform, even though there are parallel ones. There's Japan, America, India, J, there is a Quad, there are many other initiatives which are strategically very important, where we and China are antagonistic to each other.
Okay.
But in this forum, I think it's useful to also get to know directly from the Chinese what their broader intentions are. When they talk to us, they only talk about border dispute or about trade issues. But when they're in trilateral format, it helps our.
In this context, the Chinese have mentioned consensus building and mutual trust.
In the broader region.
I said the Chinese have mentioned consensus building and mutual trust in the context of this meeting, just before the meeting is to take place.
Yeah, I mean, confidence building, Russia plays a subtle role, as I said. Even last year, at the peak of the LAC crisis and after Galwan, and in September, Dr. Jaishankar had a 5-point agreement with Wang Yi, the Chinese foreign minister, in Moscow, on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the RIC.
Yes.
So having these opportunities always help. I mean, for the Chinese, they want to restore the normal relations, they say, and all full-fledged relations, even without stepping back from the border, which is not acceptable to us. They have to restore the status quo ante of April-May 2020 and step back from their encroachments near the LAC. So I think Russians know that position. They have conveyed it clearly. And Russians often tell the Chinese that, look, we have a thing going with all three of us and under BRICS. Let's not ruin all of it by being very hard-headed on these positions. So in Doklam crisis of 2017 also, RIC and BRICS helped us to ultimately restore the status quo ante and push the Chinese back. So we would hope that confidence building happens in a way where we are willing to partake with the Chinese in all these broader initiatives, provided they respect our territorial integrity and respect also our sphere of interest and influence in the Indo-Pacific.
Certainly, certainly. So one can look at some positives to emerge, hopefully, from this particular meeting. We watch that space with you. Professor Cholia, thank you so much for joining us for the time being.